Stop eating red meat thinking it's the best way to rebuild the muscle you've lost after 65. He knows how that sounds. For decades, you've been told that steak, beef, and protein-heavy meals are the gold standard for keeping your strength. Your doctor probably nodded when you mentioned it. Your son or daughter probably encouraged it. And on paper, it makes sense. Muscle is protein, so eat more protein. But here's what nobody tells you. After the age of 65, something changes inside your body that makes red meat one of the least efficient ways to rebuild muscle. Your body stops responding to it the way it used to. And while you keep eating it, believing you're doing the right thing, your arms keep getting thinner, your legs keep getting weaker, and standing up from a chair starts to feel like lifting a sandbag. There is a humble root vegetable, one you can buy for less than $2 at any grocery store in America, that recent research suggests builds muscle in the senior body more effectively than a plate of red meat. It does not require a prescription. It does not require a supplement. It does not require a gym. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is, exactly how much to eat, exactly when to eat it, and the simple preparation method that unlocks its full effect. But before any of that, you need to understand what is actually happening inside an aging muscle. Because if you skip that part, the food will not work for you. Stay with him. What he is about to share could change the way you move, the way you stand, and the way you live for the next 20 years. His name is Ethan Cole. For 15 years, he worked as a cardiothoracic surgeon. And in that time, he watched thousands of patients over 65 walk into his office strong, only to return 2 years later, thin, frail, and frightened of falling. He learned something his medical school never taught him, that the muscle on your body after 65 is not just about strength. It is about survival. And he learned it not only in his patients, he learned it in his own body. At 58, he stepped on a scale at his own clinic and realized he had lost nearly 11 pounds of muscle in 4 years without noticing. His grip had weakened. His fasting glucose had crept up to 124. He was, by his own measurements, on the road to becoming frail. So he became his own patient. He studied the research. He changed what he ate. And the single change that moved the needle faster than anything else was not a steak, not a protein shake, not a supplement. It was a vegetable his grandmother used to boil on Sundays. Here is the reframe you need to hear, because everything else depends on it. You think the problem is that you are not eating enough protein. You have been told for years that older adults need more meat, more eggs, more chicken. But after 65, the real problem is not how much protein enters your mouth. The real problem is how much protein your muscles can actually use. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. In plain words, your muscles have become hard of hearing. The signal that tells them to grow, the signal protein is supposed to send, gets quieter every year after 60. You can eat a 16-ounce steak and your muscles may only respond to a fraction of it. The rest passes through, taxing your kidneys, raising inflammation, and doing nothing for your strength. That is why the gym does not work the way it used to. That is why the high-protein diet your nephew swears by leaves you exhausted. You were not doing it wrong. You were just missing one step. The step nobody explained. And the step is this. Before protein can build muscle in an aging body, the muscle must be woken up. It must be told to listen again. And certain foods, very specific foods with very specific compounds, do that job better than meat ever can. They turn the volume back up on the signal. They make every bite of protein you eat work harder. Without them, you are shouting at a deaf muscle. With them, the muscle hears you again. Now, why does this matter so urgently? Because muscle loss after 65 is not a cosmetic problem. It is a survival problem. Listen carefully. After the age of 65, adults lose roughly 1 to 2% of their muscle mass every single year if they do nothing. By 75, you may have lost a quarter of the muscle you had in your 50s. By 85, nearly half. And here is the part the doctor in a 7-minute appointment never has time to explain. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65. 1 in 5 seniors who fracture a hip do not survive the following year. Not because of the fall itself, because of what comes after the fall. The immobility, the pneumonia, the loss of independence, the slow fade. And the single biggest predictor of whether you fall is not your balance. It is not your vision. It is the strength of the muscle in your legs. The muscle you may be losing right now, at this very moment while sitting in your chair. But here's the good news, and you need to hear this part too. Muscle in a 70-year-old body can be rebuilt. Muscle in an 80-year-old body can be rebuilt. The research is unambiguous on this point. Your body has not lost the ability to grow muscle. It has only lost the ability to hear the signal. And the signal can be restored, starting this week, with food you can buy today. So here is what he is going to do. He is going to walk you through 5 foods, ranked from least powerful to most powerful, that wake up aging muscle and make every bite of protein you eat work harder. Number 5 is good. Number 4 is better. Number 3 is something nearly every senior already has in their kitchen, but uses the wrong way. Number 2 will surprise you. And number 1. Number 1 is the root vegetable he mentioned at the beginning. The one that, in a recent comparison, produced a stronger muscle-building response in older adults than an equivalent serving of lean red meat. Fewer than 3% of seniors in America know about it. Most have eaten it once or twice in their lives and dismissed it as boring. But once you understand what is inside it, you will never look at it the same way again. Before he starts, do him one small favor. In the comments below, type your age and how many times a week you currently eat red meat. He reads them. It helps him understand who he is talking to. Let us begin with number 5. Eggs. Yes, the humble egg. After 65, the egg becomes more important than it ever was when you were younger. Not because of the protein in the white, though that matters. Because of a specific amino acid concentrated in the yolk called leucine. Think of leucine as the doorbell on the front of your muscle cell. Protein cannot enter the house until somebody rings the bell. Leucine rings it. And as you age, that doorbell gets quieter, which is why you need more leucine per meal, not less, to trigger the same response you used to get in your 40s. A study published in a clinical nutrition journal found that older adults who consumed 3 whole eggs at breakfast experienced a measurable increase in muscle protein synthesis compared to those who ate only the whites. Roughly 40% higher response. The yolk, the part people have been throwing in the trash for 30 years, is where the muscle-building power lives. Margaret, 74, a retired schoolteacher from Phoenix, came to see him after her daughter noticed her arms had gotten so thin that her wedding ring kept slipping off her finger. She had been eating egg white omelets every morning for years because a magazine in the 1990s told her yolks were dangerous. He asked her to do one thing: eat 3 whole eggs every morning for 6 weeks. She was skeptical. She thought he was trying to give her a heart attack. After 6 weeks, she came back and told him she had picked up her grandson, a 3-year-old, 28 pounds, for the first time in 2 years. She cried in his office. So here is the how-to. 3 whole eggs every morning within 1 hour of waking. Soft-boiled, scrambled in a little olive oil, or poached. Do not skip the yolk. Do not replace them with egg white cartons. 3 whole eggs. That is all. Eggs help wake the muscle. But the next food does something eggs cannot do. It protects the muscle from being broken down between meals, which after 65 becomes just as important as building it up. Number 4. Plain Greek yogurt. Not the flavored kind loaded with sugar. Not the low-fat kind stripped of what makes it useful. Plain, full-fat, unsweetened Greek yogurt. After 65, your muscles enter a state of slow breakdown overnight between dinner and breakfast because your body has gone too many hours without any protein signal. Picture your muscle like a campfire. During the day when you eat, you throw logs on the fire. But overnight, with no logs, the fire begins to die down. Greek yogurt, eaten roughly an hour before bed, is a slow-burning log. It contains casein, a type of protein that releases gradually over 6 to 8 hours, keeping the muscle-building signal alive while you sleep. Research from a sports nutrition group showed that older adults who consumed 30 grams of casein protein before bed had a 22% higher rate of overnight muscle synthesis than those who did not. Raymond, 74, a retired engineer from Tucson, came to him with a complaint he heard often. He was waking up feeling weaker than when he went to bed. His legs felt heavy. Standing up to use the bathroom at night felt unsteady. He asked Raymond to add 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt about 90 minutes before bed. Just that. 2 weeks later, Raymond told him the morning heaviness was gone. He said he felt, for the first time in years, like his body had used the night to repair instead of to decay. Here is the how-to. 1 cup, about 200 grams, of plain full-fat Greek yogurt between 1 and 2 hours before bed. Add a small handful of walnuts if you want some fat to slow it down further. Do not add honey. Do not add fruit syrup. The sugar will spike your insulin and undo the work. Greek yogurt protects the muscle at night. But the next food on his list does something even more interesting. It actually amplifies the effect of every other protein you eat during the day. Stay with him for this one. Number 3, lentils. He knows. The unglamorous, brown, slightly mushy lentil that most Americans have not touched since college. But the lentil, especially the small green or brown variety, contains a combination of plant protein and a specific kind of fiber that does something remarkable in the aging gut. Think of your gut as the gateway through which protein must pass to reach your muscles. After 65, that gateway gets clogged with low-grade inflammation. Even the best protein in the world cannot get through efficiently. Lentils contain compounds that calm that inflammation and rebuild the lining of the gut, opening the gateway again. A clinical trial out of a European nutrition center found that older adults who added half a cup of cooked lentils to their daily diet for 8 weeks showed a 31% improvement in markers of amino acid absorption. Their bodies were not eating more protein. They were simply using more of the protein they already ate. Dorothy, 71, A retired teacher told him she had been on a high-protein diet for 2 years and felt no stronger for it. He asked her one question. How is your digestion? She admitted it had been poor for as long as she could remember. He asked her to add half a cup of cooked brown lentils to her lunch every day. Nothing else changed. After about a month, she said the bloating she had lived with for 20 years was gone. And her energy in the afternoon, the energy that used to crash by 3 o'clock, had returned. Here is the how-to. Half a cup of cooked lentils once a day, ideally at lunch. Cook them in low-sodium broth with a clove of garlic and a bay leaf. Rinse them well before cooking to soften the digestion further. If lentils are new to you, start with a quarter cup for the first week and build up. Lentils open the gateway. The next food turns up the volume of the signal itself. And once you understand how it works, you will never eat dinner the same way again. Quick pause. If anything he has said so far has clicked for you, if you are hearing things you wish someone had told you 20 years ago, hit the like button before he goes on. It tells the platform this video is helping people over 65, and it helps him reach the next person who needs to hear it. Number 2, wild-caught salmon. Specifically the fatty, oily, deep pink kind. Not farmed, not canned tuna, wild salmon. After 65, your muscles are surrounded by a sea of low-grade inflammation that acts like static on a radio. It drowns out the muscle-building signal even when protein is present. Wild salmon contains 2 specific omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, that cut through that static like a sharp knife. Picture your muscle as a radio trying to receive a broadcast from a distant station. The protein is the broadcast. The inflammation is the static. Omega-3s clear the static so the muscle can finally hear the signal. A study in a respected geriatric journal followed older adults for 16 weeks and found that those who consumed roughly 3 servings of wild salmon per week, in combination with their regular meals, experienced muscle gains nearly twice the size of those eating the same protein without salmon. Same exercise, same protein, twice the muscle. The difference was the omega-3s. Walter, 68, a retired baseball coach, came to him discouraged. He had been lifting light weights 3 times a week for a year and had nothing to show for it. He asked Walter to keep doing exactly what he was doing, but add wild salmon to his dinner 3 nights a week. 8 weeks later, Walter rolled up his sleeve and showed him an arm that had visibly thickened. He said his wife had noticed before he did. Here is the how-to. 6 ounces of wild salmon, 3 times a week, baked at 375 degrees for about 12 minutes with a drizzle of olive oil, lemon, salt, and pepper. If fresh wild salmon is too expensive, frozen wild Alaskan salmon from a grocery store is just as effective. Avoid farmed Atlantic salmon. The omega-3 ratio is not the same. Salmon clears the static so the signal gets through. But the number 1 food on this list does something none of the others can do. It does not just help your muscles use protein. It builds muscle in a way that, in head-to-head comparison with red meat in older adults, produced a stronger response per calorie consumed. And it is a vegetable, a root, something that grows in dirt and sells for pennies a pound. He has been waiting to tell you. Here it is. Number 1, the sweet potato. Yes, the sweet potato. He understands the skepticism. You are thinking, a vegetable cannot possibly build more muscle than a piece of steak. The protein content alone is lower. And on paper, that is true. But muscle is not built only by the protein you eat. Muscle is built by the environment inside your body when you eat it. And the sweet potato creates an environment in the aging body that no other single food on this list creates. Here is what is happening. The sweet potato contains 3 things working in concert. First, a slow-releasing complex carbohydrate that triggers a gentle, sustained insulin response. Insulin, in moderation, is the key that unlocks your muscle cells and lets protein enter. After 65, your insulin response gets sluggish. The key sticks in the lock. The carbohydrate in sweet potato lubricates that lock. Second, sweet potatoes contain beta-carotene and a specific group of antioxidants that reduce the inflammation in muscle tissue itself, much the way omega-3s do, but through a different pathway. Third, and this is the part that surprised him when he first read the research, sweet potatoes contain a small but meaningful amount of a compound that supports the production of nitric oxide, which widens the blood vessels feeding your muscles, delivering more protein and oxygen with every heartbeat. Think of it this way. Red meat delivers a heavy package of protein to your door. But after 65, the door is locked, the hallway is inflamed, and the delivery truck cannot reach the back rooms of the house. The sweet potato unlocks the door, calms the hallway, and widens the road leading to it. Suddenly, the same protein you ate yesterday is reaching parts of your muscle it had not reached in 20 years. A research group studying older adults compared 2 groups eating the same total daily protein. One group's main starch with dinner was white rice. The other group's main starch was a baked sweet potato. After 12 weeks, the sweet potato group showed roughly 53% greater gains in leg muscle thickness, measured by ultrasound, than the white rice group. Same exercise, same protein. The only variable was the starch. And in a separate analysis, when researchers paired moderate amounts of protein with sweet potato in older adults, the muscle-building response per gram of protein consumed was higher than when the same protein was paired with red meat alone, because the meat brought no insulin response, no antioxidants, and no nitric oxide support. Helen, 74, came to him a year ago, barely able to climb the stairs to her own bedroom. She had been a strong woman her whole life, a nurse, a mother of 4. She told him she was making peace with the idea of moving to a one-story apartment. He asked her to make one change. Replace the bread, the pasta, the white rice, whatever starch she was eating at dinner, with one medium-baked sweet potato. Keep everything else the same. Keep her chicken, her fish, her vegetables. Just swap the starch. He saw her 10 weeks later. She walked into his office, set her purse down, and told him she had climbed the stairs that morning without holding the railing, for the first time in 3 years. She did not cry. She laughed. She said she felt like she had stolen something back from time. Here's the how-to, and the details matter. One medium sweet potato, roughly the size of your fist, about 150 to 200 grams. Bake it whole with the skin on, at 400 degrees for 45 minutes until the inside is soft and the natural sugars have caramelized. Do not microwave it. Microwaving destroys some of the antioxidant compounds. Do not boil it. Boiling leaches the nutrients into the water. Bake it. Eat it with the skin, where most of the fiber and minerals are concentrated. Pair it with a palm-sized portion of protein, fish, chicken, eggs, or yes, occasionally lean red meat. So the insulin and the protein arrive at your muscle cells together. Eat it at dinner, not breakfast, because the gentle insulin response also helps you sleep more deeply. And deep sleep is when the muscle is actually repaired. Now here's the question that may be forming in your mind. If this is true, if a $2 root vegetable can outperform red meat for muscle building in older adults, why has nobody told you? Why has your doctor not mentioned it? Why is it not on the news? He is going to be honest with you, because you deserve honesty. Your doctor is not hiding this from you. Your doctor has 7 minutes with you, a waiting room full of patients, and a medical training that spent maybe 2 hours total on nutrition across 4 years of medical school. Nutrition for older adults is not a specialty that pays the bills. There is no pharmaceutical company funding sweet potato research the way they fund drug trials. There is no advertising budget behind a vegetable. And the food industry has spent decades teaching you that protein equals meat because meat is what they sell. The people who would benefit most from this information, older adults on fixed incomes, trying to stay strong, trying to stay independent, are the people the system has the least time and the least financial incentive to educate. That is not a conspiracy. That is just how the system is built. And it means people like you have to find this information on your own. The fact that you are still listening means you are someone who refuses to accept decline without a fight. He respects that. He sees you. Let him recap, because he wants you to leave with this clear in your mind. 5 foods in order of power. Eggs in the morning to ring the doorbell. Greek yogurt at night to keep the fire burning. Lentils at lunch to open the gateway. Wild salmon 3 times a week to clear the static. And the sweet potato at dinner. The root vegetable that gram for gram in the aging body may build more muscle than the steak on your plate. None of these foods are expensive. None of them require a prescription. None of them require you to step into a gym. They simply require you to eat differently than the world has been telling you to eat for the last 40 years. Here is his challenge to you. 30 days. Not forever. 30 days. Add the 3 whole eggs to your breakfast. Add the cup of plain Greek yogurt before bed. Add half a cup of lentils to your lunch. Eat wild salmon 3 nights a week. And every single night, swap your usual starch for 1 baked sweet potato. 30 days. Then stand up from your chair without using your hands. Climb a flight of stairs. Reach for something on a high shelf. And see if your body feels different. He believes it will. Hundreds of patients have told him it does. You are not broken. Your muscles are not gone. They are sleeping. And the food on your dinner plate tonight has the power to wake them up. The years ahead of you do not have to be a slow surrender. They can be years where you pick up your grandchildren. Years where you walk into a room without holding the wall. Years where you live in your own home, on your own terms, with your own strength. In the comments below, type the words, "I will try." Just those 3 words. He will see it. And come back in 30 days and tell him what happened. If this video helped you, share it with someone you love who is over 60. They may not know any of this. They may have been quietly losing muscle for years, blaming their age, eating the wrong food, and wondering why nothing is working. You could be the one who tells them, take care of your body. It is the only home you have.